Was that just the largest understatement in the history,
Yeah.
right? That this is possibly the biggest election. You're not lying. This is just is absolutely incredible. Um, and I don't think it's based on the conversations I'm having. I don't think it's what the country, I think for the world. I mean, it's I have so many people from virtually everywhere outside the United States saying we are watching this election and we're watching the United States closer than we ever have before. And the sad part and the good part is they're putting all the hopes on us.
Yeah.
They're feeling so desperate in other countries that they're like, this is it. We'll see what happens. We'll see what happens. They're gonna try to steal it. I mean, they're stealing it right now. So I know you're gonna go into that a bit.
Yeah, I have right now on my desk 709 stories of illegally. So get yourself a pot of coffee. It's going to be a long, long, long show. And oh no, wait, now 722 now. Okay, so the number's going up. This show may not end.
Yeah, no.
Yeah,
I
it's
might
insane.
it looks like I might have a plane to catch, so I can't indulge you with your 722. But they're coming in faster than we can talk about them. So we would be here till midnight and probably only get to the first 300.
That's right. And then actually, the election will have already been over. And it's just the way it is right now. It's just coming in at 100 miles an hour. One of our buddies on Telegram, Tom, he had asked me, it's like, how are
Telegram
things?
Tom.
We love Tom. Tom Free, right? Tom Free 19, I think is his handle. And, he asked, he said, how are you keeping up with everything? And I said, I'm sprinting and I can't keep up. Literally, it's coming in that quickly. And, like same with you, I've got friends from all over the world. I got friends in Spain, Portugal. I've got friends in Australia. We have viewers in Australia here. We have Linda, who's in Scotland, and they're looking, they're watching, and my friends from Canada are contacting me and saying, "What in the world's going on?" Because they're not hearing that Trump's ahead. All they're hearing is Kamala's going to win. Kamala's going to win. And they're like, no, this can't be, this can't be. And I said, well, we toy with the numbers, but I'm thinking closer to 80-20 would be the real result if there were to have a result like that. It's really going to be lopsided in one direction. However, the steal is on. And every 10 minutes, you see another story come across the feed that shows how they're gaming the system. And the gamesmanship is in full gear and has been for a while. And Lewis and I, we talked about this last week. It's like it actually has served us to have all this early voting because it's allowed us to kind of eke out a lot of the because if it's just on one day it's hard to get into court and get a judgment but that it's been like 3 weeks now, right? There's been early voting going on. We're able to find it and deal with it. Lara, Trump just announced that they have 500 lawyers lined up in every one of the battleground states ready to go. So they didn't seem to have a good game plan, and she clarified it today because she had said just 500 lawyers total. I'm like, well, that doesn't sound like a lot, but seems like the game plan's there.
It does seem like the game plan is there, doesn't it?
Yeah. Well, they know there's going to be challenges, and Donald Trump had said it in his rallies on the weekend. He said, it's going to look difficult. He mentioned the next 90 days, and I think everyone kind of understands it's not going to be a clean win. Even if the votes come in for him, they're going to do everything they can not to inaugurate him. And I think the battle really begins. And I'm telling everybody, all my friends, I'm saying, the battle isn't November 5th. We're all out there. We're all getting the vote out. We're going to talk more about that today. That's really our job right now. However, after, like when November 6th comes, that's when the fighting starts. And I think we've got from November 6th to January 6th, when they
Hmm.
certify this thing, is going to be, a real challenge for us.
Yeah. Well, I am
Lewis is
speechless.
speechless. I love it.
Yes,
When does that
because
happen?
I have so many people text me asking me, what do I think? And I say, I have no idea.
Yeah.
I said, I can't pretend to know what's going to happen. So we go with what that Trump probably has already won the election from the word I'm getting, boots on the ground. There's been so much going on. They think he's already won the election, especially with the military contingent of ballots that have already been sent in.
Hmm.
So, and then tomorrow, most people we're talking to are actually going to go vote tomorrow.
Yes,
Um,
a lot of them will vote on election day. It's what we have learned to do over the years, right?
right.
It's a traditional
And
thing. Yeah.
I was going to vote tomorrow, but something just happened where I'm going to. Looks like I'm going to have to. My wife and I have to right after the show run over and vote today. So very interesting, very interesting. But the point is the win is already in, right? And do you by chance have images of the Fox News and what they're reporting on what the polls look like for Kamala
You
Harris?
know, I should have captured them because we had this conversation earlier today. But Fox News is showing Harris ahead in a lot of the battleground states, and it's like clearly the numbers are fake. And Lewis and I went into the deep dive on Fox News about, a lot of us think, oh, it's a conservative news outlet and they're on our side. They are clearly not on our side. If you didn't get that in 2020, by the way, I stopped cold turkey watching Fox News in 2020 when they called Arizona
Yeah.
for Biden early, and it was like 1% of the vote is in, and it's like, oh yeah, he's going to win. I'm like, you don't know that. And they wouldn't back off. They didn't apologize. They just went forward with it. And I said, okay, these guys are not on our side. And I stopped watching. I don't go to their website at all. The only time you'll see a Fox News thing is when it shows up in X, and there's a little clip that might be useful,
Mhm.
and I'll repost it. But that is it. I don't engage with that organization at all anymore. And many of you who are still, my brother is one. He's got the thing on all the time in the background. It's like, you got to stop. You need a new habit.
Well, yeah, let's go into this deep dive. I think this would be fun for
Hmm.
some people in regards to let's call it the Murdoch family tree.
Yeah.
So, Rupert Murdoch, which the original of Fox News, is an Australian. Many people think he's from the United States. He's not. He's from Australia, which I found fascinating. His first wife, Patricia, he had a child named Prudence Murdoch. But then when it gets really interesting is then he married somebody called Anna Marie Torv. She is from Scotland. Again, not an American. They had three kids, Elizabeth, Lachlan, and James. James is active, Elizabeth is active in the day-to-day operations, but Lachlan Murdoch is the chairman
Yep.
of Fox News. And as Robert pointed out to me, I didn't even know this. He's like hyper liberal.
Yeah. Yeah.
So I find that very interesting. Then Rupert's next wife, and this is the one that I caught, and he married Wendy Dang. Wendy Dang was born in China and lived there until she was 20. Hmm. Think about this. Another Chinese influence into the political realm. I don't think this is an accident. And he had two children with Wendy Dang, and then he ended up marrying and now divorcing somebody called Jerry Hall. So it's very fascinating to me that you have a guy that's from Australia running what's supposed to be an unbiased American political outfit, and he marries a woman from Scotland, and they have kids that are born here, I'm assuming, right? But you can see where their tilt would be. And one is super liberal running a conservative news network. I
Yeah.
mean, none of it adds up. And then you add into the mix that he married somebody directly from China. I'm like, sketchy.
The pieces don't line up to being a patriotic news outlet, and that's the kind of how they presented themselves. And I guess in the years of Hannity and Combs, Bill O'Reilly, those years, it felt more conservative, certainly, than it is today. It is certainly not that today. You still have Maria Bartiromo, and who's the other one there that is sort of on our side? Jesse Waters, maybe?
Yeah,
Yeah.
probably just Jesse Waters. But Maria's it looks like she's doing good work. I'm always sketchy because she's part of the World Economic Forum, though.
Hmm.
So that kind of gives me a little pause for sure. It's all pretty wacky, though, Robert, isn't it?
It is, and we really have to pay attention to where we're getting our news from. There's, for instance, somebody I posted something from Patrick Byrne. I don't know much about him. People are like, "Oh, he's not MAGA. He's not MAGA." He may not be, but he's doing the right thing today. And I'm willing to overlook the backgrounds of some of these people if you're doing the right thing today, because people can change. And if you're on the right side of this right now, I'm more than happy to, listen to you and listen to what you have to say. So, yeah,
Yeah, yeah.
I've changed my framing a lot on that.
You and I are on the same
Yeah,
page. I'm kind of what have you done for us lately type of
right.
thing, because I do have a feeling, and I've seen it with certain pundits out there. It seems like they're going one way, and then President Trump has a talk with them, and the next thing you know, they're going, okay, we've got this,
Yeah.
right? And I mean a lot of them. So I'm on the same page right now. If they were not involved in something extraordinarily nefarious, I'm like, okay, are you doing the right thing now? All right, let's get past this. Let's move forward. If we stick our heads in the past, we're never going to move forward. And like Robert David
Yeah.
Steele always says, reconciliation has to be part of this model, or we will never win
It,
this war.
absolutely, it's got to be, and it's got to be a big part of it because as we move forward here, if we villainize everyone, then we've got two people that we're going to follow at the end of this. And I'm like, no, no, that can't be. And you see a lot of Democrats coming over now, the eyes open, they're waking up. Great, welcome with open arms. Happy to have you on board. Tulsi Gabbard and RFK Jr. are the two big ones, but there's many, many, many more. Actually, even at the local level, we're seeing it. Friends who were lifelong Democrats are like, I can't vote for this anymore. And they're voting for Trump. I'm like, it's amazing to see. I mean, to the point where you might actually consider.
California is red. Yeah,
Yeah.
I'm sure it's red. I mean, we know we did a 26 out of 26, just a copious questions to liberals and Democrats, and all 26 were saying Gavin Newsom's out of here. If it was heavy Democrat, I would have think he would have at least got a few legitimate responses to his favor. But yeah, from the people I've talked to, the problem is, and this has been the deep state model anyways, Robert, and you know it. What they do is they pack these cities with the Democrats, and they make it very, very easy for them to go vote, and they drive them to the polls, and they do everything. Now think about it. They wouldn't drive out to a rural area or a suburban area and do this. So this is intentional from the get-go. People need to start understanding the matrix that they have put us in. So they build these cities, they make everything close by. You don't need transportation in most cases, i.e., New York, to get around and do what you need. And then what they do is they put all the polling centers within walking distance. And if they're not, they will pick you up in a bus and they'll drop you off as long as they know who you're voting for ahead of time. So this is an
Wow.
extraordinary game that's being played. And let's be honest, the Democrats have played it a hell of a lot better than the Republicans had for several years.
Yeah,
But now the
absolutely.
Republicans are so corrupt, it doesn't matter anymore.
Yeah.
We just need to tear the system down.
Well, there are no such thing. I mean, I was having a conversation with a friend from Canada this week, and Republican Democrat. I said, well, we're so far beyond that. It really is. Are you voting for communism? Because truthfully, we've been on the bullet train toward communism for the past 4 years, and if you can't see it, open your damn eyes, right?
Yeah,
Or
yeah.
are you voting for freedom, going back to a capitalist society where you're rewarded for your effort? I mean, that's really what it is. And the other system, you're not rewarded. Everyone is paid the same. Everyone is equal. Everyone is the same. It's like you homogenize the society. You remove all the extraordinary people, all the innovation. How do we know? Just look at any country. I look at Canada. Canada's one. What is the last innovation that came out of Canada that was so big, that was amazing? There is none because
I'm thinking.
Canada's tax system literally punishes success. It's the way it's designed to punish success. So you're an entrepreneur, the more money you make, the more taxes you pay. Why would I do that? And when they get to a certain point, they leave. The doctors are the same thing. Their salaries are capped, and when they hit that point, they come to America.
Yeah, or they take the deal. And so there's a few wealthy people in Canada, and I hate to say it, most of the wealthy businessmen in Canada are directly connected to the deep state operation
Yeah.
themselves. And there's other countries like that have that model too. I don't know about now, but that's the way China was definitely 10 years ago.
Yep, just look at the guy who was running Alibaba. He's gone. We never heard of him anymore. Chinese government, he got too successful, so the government took it over. Now it's run by the Chinese
Right.
government. Now we haven't heard from him anymore.
Well, because he probably didn't comply.
He didn't comply. I want to let you guys know you should go over to screwbiggov.com. You want to keep up with Lewis. Got a lot of stuff going on, including the new Hurricane Hell movie. If you haven't seen that documentary, certainly go watch it. Hurricanehell.com, I think, is the website, right? You can get it directly?
Yes.
Yeah,
Yes.
hurricanehell.com will take you there directly. And there was a re-edit. Uh-huh. Yep. More content added. If you've watched it already, you may want to watch it again because Lewis added a bunch more stuff. Late hours of, what was it, Thursday night into Friday, he was working on it. And I think
Yeah.
Friday night it finally got uploaded. So there's a new version of it on there. So if you haven't seen it, tell your friends. I have a lot of people asking about it, and I've been sending them there, and they're blown away because it's information that is not being covered in the media. So great job on that, Lewis.
Thank you. And if you have seen it, go watch it again. I'm checking for some reason it's not working on hurricanehell.com. Hmm. But if you're watching on Rumble right now, you can just scroll down a couple. Robert, while you're talking about the next story, let me just contact Lisa to make sure that gets up
Okay.
there.
Yep.
Thank you, sir.
And you guys, you want to follow me, you can follow me at renegademedia.tv. That's the website. And you can follow at Renegade Media on Telegram. And boy, oh boy, that channel has been on fire. Phoebe's pitched in today, and she's been adding stories and things that we've been finding because it is a crazy, crazy time for us. Everything that's been going on with the election as we get closer and closer. Boy, there's a lot to post up there. And, you know, it really does feel like a sprint. I mean, there's no other way to look at it. It's like we're going at 100 miles an hour here simply because there's so much to look at and so much is coming in. Now, tomorrow it's going to be even faster. I think there's going to be a lot more going on because tomorrow the polls will be filled with people and they're expecting a record turnout. Which could mean, they're not going to be ready for it. You heard of that Bucks County, I think it was in Pennsylvania, where they had 2 poll workers, and the wait time was about 8 hours to vote. And people were waiting online. They didn't want to wait anymore. And then some volunteers got together. Nick Sorter was involved in that, and they bought pizzas. They set up a table. They started feeding them. Another guy went into a store and he bought donuts and things like that for those who were diabetic and their blood sugar was dropping, get their blood sugar back up. Okay, not the greatest idea. He said it himself, but he said we got to do something to keep these people nourished and keep them there in line for so long. They actually had just two poll workers there, which is just unheard of. So these are games that are being played, and we know that's going to happen. We're going to see a lot of that tomorrow. So if you're planning on voting tomorrow, probably plan to get out early. Don't wait till the end of the day. Don't wait till 6 o'clock. Yeah, I know a lot of you are working and you may not be able to get away. Maybe you talk to your boss and just say, look, this is the most important day in history. I'm calling in sick. I'm voting today. And that's all there is to it. If you don't like it, can't help you. You know what I mean? At some point, we've got to stick up for what's right. We got to do the right thing here. So tomorrow's going to be an interesting day. We are planning and working on a special show for you. And this was me late into the hours last night, putting everything together for the show. It's like Phoebe's like, are you ever going to come to bed? I got 5 computers going to be running the show tomorrow. It's going to be a lot of fun. And we have a lot of guests. We're inviting a bunch of people to come on and join us to keep the conversation lively. Bruce Poppy will be on. Joe Rosati, Joe Rosati, Matt Geiger. We'll have maybe Kristen and Kurt will be here, and we have many others. Mitch Axelrod has also agreed to come on, so we'll have a really good show. And Lewis will pop in if he can because he's got a special situation happening now that we're trying to figure out if he's going to be able to pop in, but he may be doing something super amazing. Stay tuned. We'll let you know.
I actually just got confirmation on it, so it's a go.
It's a go. Okay.
Yeah.
Good.
So, I mean, we can announce it. It's not a big deal. I'm just hoping I could come live from there. So we got an invitation. We were very grateful. My wife and I got an invitation to be at the actual Trump election event tomorrow in West Palm Beach. So will be at his event with him and his crew. So that's pretty awesome.
That is
Um,
awesome.
and we're going to do our best. I believe there's a section that we can live stream from, so
Live
we'll
stream
keep
by
our
the
eyes.
pool. I think that'd be cool.
Yeah, it's not well. It's the convention center. It's not the Mar-a-Lago.
Okay. Okay. Got it.
But yeah, it'd be cool if I can get out. I will for
Yeah.
sure.
Yeah. Absolutely. I think that'll be a lot of fun. And if you can't make it, don't worry too much about it. We'll have enough people on the show that'll keep it rolling and keep it a lot of fun. I don't know how long the show will go. People have been asking how long it is going to go. It's like we're going to go until we feel confident we've got as much as we are going to get from the election results tomorrow night. They're already warning us that many states will not report tomorrow night. So that's going to be interesting. It's like, oh, don't we have computers? Don't they know in real time? Once you scan the ballot, ding. I mean, it's a database, right? Just look at the number. Every vote that comes
It's
in, database should go up by one for Trump or for Harris. I mean, doesn't seem to be rocket science, but apparently that's not the way it works. It's very confusing, intentionally so. So we don't understand it. And if you listen to some of the people who are trained in poll workers, went to poll worker training, it is so confusing that they're even confused.
well, they plus they actually showed up at the pole dancing training, and that really messed them up completely. Um, so
Damn,
the
I think
if,
I'm in the wrong room. This is the pole dancing room? I don't know.
yeah, interesting enough, why is it these states cannot count? So Texas counts really well. California actually counts really well, but it's all fake,
It's
so they
fake,
don't
yeah.
really need it.
Hmm.
By the way, California's election numbers are predetermined before the election. I know you guys think I'm crazy, but we've seen so much evidence of it.
Yep.
They already know the percentage that they're going to put out, so they already know their winner. But Texas can count all the ballots in one day, all the precincts, all the counties, all the cities, all the ballot initiatives, you name it, judges, um, senators, people running for the lemonade stand down the street. So Texas can count it all, but for some reason, isn't it interesting that Arizona, Pennsylvania, Michigan, you know, Georgia, they all seem to have North Carolina sometimes. They all have trouble seeming
Yeah.
to have trouble counting their election within one day. In fact, some, wink, wink, Maricopa County can take up to 2 weeks before they get all their votes in.
13 days. That's just one day shy of 2 solid weeks, is what they're saying now. And what's interesting in Maricopa County, everything goes to that runback and everything goes to, they have a massive, massive election center where all the voting counting happens. And you would think that this is a very efficient operation and they could whip through that in a couple of hours, but that's not the way it works. Not at all the way it works.
I, the narrative tomorrow is what I'm really interested in
Yeah.
seeing, because right, which was President Trump. That's more of a military operation thing. Now, that being said, they were prepared in 2020.
Hmm.
And as I've said many times, they've tested this many places, Orange County, California being one. They've tested the ballot harvesting and they've saw the apathy in the conservative side was so large, they already knew they had 2021. So they had these ballots pre-made, if people don't understand. So the reason why it was shut down at that 3 a.m. only had zero to do with counting. Well, I guess it did. They had to count their fake votes and they had to make sure they installed their fake votes. And it took them several hours overnight to do that. And then where they messed up and got caught, then they came back with excuses and they did these recounts and suddenly all these other votes showed up.
Yep.
Right? So that's the way it works. So the challenge with doing that in 2024 is everybody knows. Everybody's fully aware. In fact, I don't think you had 722 reports for all of 2020 and 2022 election
Not
challenges.
not prior to it. No, I don't think anybody. And steal a presidential election. This is America. You can't do that. It'll never happen. That's the most important, most sacred thing we've got. That's not going to happen. And when it happened, we knew right away on that November 4th, that faithful November 4th, where they declared Joe Biden the winner. And it was like, huh? He was installed. He didn't win. There's no way he won that. And
Hmm.
your optics were there. He didn't campaign. He didn't hold any rallies. He had no audience. I mean, nobody you knew was voting for him. And it was just like, well, and then he wins by the most votes of any president in history? That doesn't make any sense. I didn't see any Biden parades. I didn't see any Biden signs. You know what I mean?
No,
Yeah.
they were calling him Basement Biden at the time.
Yeah. Yeah.
Now it's Pedo Joe, which is better.
Hmm.
So the reality, though, is there's a few different scenarios. One scenario can be, which would be the wonderful scenario, that the deep state just says, "Up, we can't fake this, and let's give it over." And then, like you say, from November 6th to January 6th is where all hell's going to break
Right.
loose, right? So that's one scenario that can happen. Another scenario is they purely do a digital mind fuck, which, excuse my language, but I think that's very likely. And digitally, they show Kamala Harris winning everything. So there's trying to push the questions away, right? And
Right.
then everybody's going to convince you that we live in a liberal country, and that's what the pundits on the news media will do. Or it
Well,
could
they're
be similar
preceding it
to,
right now. You can see that all over the place. I mean, the numbers
yeah,
that Fox is presenting, and if you look at left-leaning media, MSNBC and such, they're like, "Oh, Kamala's got this. It's in the bag. There's nothing to worry about. She's going to
yep.
win by a landslide." I'm like, that's all propaganda because none of that's true.
Well, it's total
Yeah.
propaganda. She can't get somebody to her rally unless there's some famous singer showing up.
Yep.
That's just the way it
Or
is.
she buses them
So,
in. Like today, she was bussing them in. Posobiec
right,
was
again, well,
reporting
every
on that.
every day,
Yeah.
right. And so here's the challenge, though, is I don't see them duplicating the sheet the way they did in 2020. I think they're going to have to try to put a spin on it of some sort. Number one is I honestly believe Trump is at least 2-1, maybe 70-30. That's how heavy I think his margins are right
Oh,
now.
they're massive. Yeah, and I would have go even farther. I would go at 80-20, but
Yeah,
it's
could
insane.
be.
Yeah.
Could be. I'm very confident. I've said this many times to you, Robert. I think the country's going to be all red if they show the real numbers one day, and Washington, D.C. will stand blue, and that will tell the story. That alone tells you the story. You're being controlled by a little blue dot that's controlling the red. And that, to me, seems like that's the truth and that's the story.
Well, Shasta County
So,
will be the truth here in California, right? Because they did away with the machines. So if that is still the case, I haven't heard anything more. Then you'll see that red and everything else around it blue. You'll go, oh, okay, now we can see it, right?
now that's a great point. I'd love to see what Shasta County looks like. I
Yep.
think that's an epic point. So so whatever same way that it did in
No,
2020.
because we figured it out, right? So and the
Too
mules are
obvious.
still there. We still see that happening. We still see the fake ballots coming in. There were reports of sea containers, between 15 and 150 sea containers full of pre-printed ballots being delivered to Los Angeles ports. And who knows where they were going. There's a private trucking company that picked them up and off they went. And nobody knew where they went. So there's a lot of that in the system. And then you have the black box of the machines, which you have no idea what that's doing. You know what I mean? Fractional voting. What in the heck is that? Why in the world do we have fractional voting? Why is my one vote for Trump worth 0.75 and not worth 1.0? You know what I mean? It's a whole number, not a fraction of a number. So yeah, there's a lot of shenanigans going on. The hope is Mike Lindell has a system in place where they're tracking the traffic in and out of the voting center, the counting centers, the Wi-Fi traffic and the cellular traffic. And if you remember when he did his cyber symposium, he was supposed to do the PCAPs, right? The packet captures. And he had all
Right.
these hackers ready to go, and they scared him off, and he didn't do it during that thing. And that was a time when he brought Tina Peters in, and we exposed that whole thing in Colorado. But that wasn't supposed to be the presentation. It was supposed to be, here are the packet captures. We're giving them all the programmers and the hackers, and they're going to go through them, and they're going to give us the story. And I don't know what happened. I don't know what the threats were, but he never released them. He still has them. He never released them, and it was given to him apparently by the military. So I don't know what that story is, but now apparently they're going to capture them, and they don't have to wait for someone to give it to them. They're going to have them in hand. in many places. We'll see.
Well, w- here's the way I explain it, because there's a lot of people that are in panic mode right now.
Hmm.
Whatever the outcome is, it's glorious. This is a short-term pain that we have to go in for
Right.
long-term gain.
Hmm.
So it's going to get no. Think about it. Trump's in or Trump's out. According to the news media, it's still going to be messy as hell,
Yeah.
right? And we have to go through this cleansing process, and sometimes I don't know if you've ever cleaned out your garage. You go in and you're like, oh wow, this is overwhelming. And when you start cleaning it out, you mess it up more in order to get it cleaned out. You throw a box here, throw this here, and then you start slowly putting it in piles and organizing, getting everything cleaned up. And then when you're finally done sweeping and cleaning, it's amazing, and you feel like this weight come off your shoulders, and it's beautiful. I think that's the exact same thing we're going to be dealing with for the next few months. So I would like everybody just take a breath, be grounded, and be prepared for that. I deeply believe it's glorious. This is God's work right now, and it's proven time and time again that we're going in the God direction, and I don't think He's going to let us lose this in the long run.
No, and just to bring up integrity community set up on X, and if you have something that you see, you can go report it there. Just look up election integrity community in the search on X, and you'll find it right away. It's one of the first things that'll come up. And sadly, look at that, only 60,000 people have joined. You would expect that number to be much higher. A lot of people don't know about it. True the Vote is another one. They have an app that you can report stuff in real time and then send it to them, and then they'll distribute it to local authorities. And there's a lot of that's going to be flying. And I would not be disappointed if we didn't come to a conclusion tomorrow night, because of all the lawsuits I expect to see flying all over the place. You may not get to that point, but it'll be interesting to see the trend, because the trend is really what's going to tell us the story more than anything, right?
Yeah, and what I'm really interested for myself is seeing the pulse of the people in the room with President Trump.
Right.
And that's why I feel very fortunate to be there for that. It is I can really start gauging, okay, where are we in this? Because these are mega supporters or somebody that has done something significantly for the country. That's what I believe that's the type of supporters that we're going to be dealing with tomorrow. So to see the pulse on what they're going to do, steal or no steal, is very, very going to be very interesting. I'm going to have my ear in every conversation I possibly can, because I think that's fascinating, and it's your job and my job to kind of come back here. And I've told people openly, my job is information and motivation. I keep you informed. I try to help you be grounded and motivated for whatever's going to become, because the reality is, whether the future holds bad or good, you need to be the best that you can be in order to move forward.
Right.
So that's where my task from God has come.
Well, that's,
Everybody
yeah, we don't
has
move
their own.
forward. The people always ask, what's the most important thing I can do? It's be the best you can be. And what? Yeah, well, that's the best thing you can do, because then you become an example of what's possible rather than a warning, right? So Tony Robbins always talks about that. Your life is either a warning or a shining example, and the choice is yours. So
Yeah, I
let's,
think it goes even deeper, Rob. How about our spiritual connection with everybody?
yeah, absolutely.
How about the quantum realm that we're dealing with? When you're the best you can be and you're vibrating at the highest frequency you possibly can, that affects people across the world, in my opinion.
Yeah, well, positive energy attracts. So I don't have any friends. I don't have any friends. Well, raise your vibration. They'll come running. You know what I mean? People want to be around people who are positive and have a great outlook on life. And Kevin comes to mind. Kevin, the buzzer guy, comes to mind on that. This guy's always got a great attitude, no matter what is going on. He just went through some major surgery. I didn't see him complain 1 second. Always cracking
No.
jokes, right? Making the
Yep.
nurses
Always.
laugh, making the doctors laugh. It's like, they're putting him under, and he's still joking. You know what I mean?
That's right. Hope I come back. Yeah, no,
Uh,
it's absolutely true. Let me give some positive energy real quick. This may be a surprise to somebody, but tonight, I would say maybe any moment now, soon, Megyn Kelly will be publicly at a Trump rally endorsing President Trump, and he was invited by by him personally. Find that to be fascinating if you guys recall what happened in
Hmm.
2015.
Yeah. Yeah.
I hear she's not bleeding from every orifice today.
Oh, and she also had Bannon on her show today too. So, you know, she's come a long way.
Yep.
Yeah. So
But
here's Polymarket. This is what they're showing right now, and I take exception with Illinois. Illinois is bright blue. I don't know that that's true anymore.
no, I don't.
Every report I see on that ground is no way. We're not voting for Harris. We're going Trump. So what do you think?
Yeah, I agree with you wholeheartedly. Um, Let me look at this 55.6 to 44.3. And this is Polymarket. Well, Polymarket has been um, there. I think they were actually called something else before, but if it's the same people, I believe it is, Robert. You may know better than me, but they are historically really good.
Yeah.
I think these numbers are super low, though.
How
I
does
think
Harris get 44? That's an interesting number. I really don't think she's much higher than 30
no, I
in
don't
real
think so
terms.
either.
Yeah.
I don't think so either. And but they're going by the general assumptions also. I think there's probably some assumptions on the algorithm
Hmm.
here. They're going with the standard New York, California, Oregon, Washington narrative. No, I don't see it. Illinois is the dark blue an indication? Yeah, I guess the light blue would mean that's closer to swing.
Is leaning, yeah, leaning Democrats. So you see Arizona's leaning Republican, Nevada leaning Republican in this survey. Georgia leaning Republican, North Carolina leaning Republican.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I think this one's off, way off.
Yeah.
It's going to be interesting to. I can't wait to see real numbers. How fun is that when we see
Oh,
the
and we're
real?
going to have that. We're going to have that tomorrow. We're going to have a live map, and we're going to keep it updated as the results come in. That is computer number 5 for me. That's going to do that piece of
Well,
it.
why don't we? I know that was supposed to be my job tomorrow,
Hmm.
so we want to maybe bring somebody on and I can show them how to operate it if in case they don't know how.
Yeah, I
It's pretty.
will. I'll probably task Bruce with that. Bruce doesn't know it yet, but he's not going to go to bed tomorrow early because he's on the East Coast, and we'll be starting at 7:30 p.m. East Coast time, 4:30 p.m. Pacific, and we're going to go as long as we need to go. It could be 4 or 5 hours of streaming, whatever it is. And uh, Bruce, make yourself a pot of coffee, my friend. You're going to need it.
Just tell Bruce ahead of time. It's likely that they're going to show a steal, so don't get too triggered.
Yeah.
I don't want him to break his computer on live on air.
I hope he doesn't do that because that would not be fun. It would
Well,
not be fun.
it'd be good TV.
It would be. It would be. Hey, look at this smiling little face. I wake up to this guy every day. This is Thumper. He's
Uh,
now a little over 15 and always so healthy and
Thumper.
so spry. We feed him the good stuff from Pet Club 24/7. If you want to take care of your pets in a good way, go to screwbiggov.com/pets and you can find out more about the great food that we feed our cat and Lewis feeds his puppies. All right.
Papitos.
Papitos, keep the puppies healthy, man. That's what we got to do. This is a quote RFK came out with. And it was in that video we played right at the opening. And I want to talk about it a little bit because I think it is just so powerful. Ultimately, the only thing that will save our country and our children is if we choose to love our kids more than we hate each other.
Oh, so beautiful.
Beautiful, isn't it?
He comes out with the best stuff I've
Yeah.
seen when it comes to the sayings and the things like that. And his little 40-second videos are just epic.
Yeah, well, he's very intelligent, and people don't realize just how intelligent he is. And there was like, oh, your family disowned you, and this and that, and he's like, but I'm doing the right thing. I'm doing what's right, so that doesn't matter. And he said,
Exactly.
I don't have them anymore in my life, but you know what? Look at all my new friends. And you and I, Lewis, are the same. We have family members that don't talk to us anymore, and but look at all the new friends we have. I look online and see the chat room and see all these beautiful people on here, and all the email messages we get, and the comments and the kind words, and it's like, well, yeah. This is why we're doing what we're doing. It's like we have a new family now, and honestly, I think those people who disowned us are coming back. They're coming back. They're making their way
Yeah.
back. You know.
And currently, look at all the authentic, heartfelt friends we have right now.
Yeah.
That's
Yeah.
you can't trade that for anything.
You can't. And they're the other ones are slowly waking up, and I think after I'm calling the election the big boom, because I think that's really, the fuse is finally burnt to the point where the thing's about to blow, and we're going to see that, and it may make a big mess tomorrow, which is okay, because we know we need to clean it up. We've got a clean house. House is very dirty. We need to clean it up. So I think that may be what is in order. So don't expect things to get resolved. If Trump were in power today, how long would it take him to clean up the mess that we're in? 22 million illegals. That's not going to happen overnight. That's going to take some time. You know. And you're going to have a lot of people who are defectors who will not go along, especially in law enforcement. They've been programmed one way now, and to deprogram them and say, no, 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 you're here to protect the American citizens, not to protect the illegals. It's like turning the Titanic with some of these people. It's not going to be easy. A lot of them may have to be. I mean, it may come to that in a lot of cases.
It might. It might. If my estimates are right, I think it'll cost $100 billion to remove every illegal from here within 5 days. All you do is say, here's a check, $5,000. You have to go collect it in your own country. And then, boop, they're gone.
They're gone. They have no reason to be here. There's nothing here for them. My real concern is when the government money dries up, and it will. They're $5,000 a month. They're getting twice as much as our veterans are getting per month, and they're getting, almost 3 times as much as our seniors are getting in Social Security, which is just crazy amounts of money. But that's not going to last forever. That'll go away at some point, and then what? Then you have a bunch of people who are unemployed, who can't feed themselves, have no place to live. You either deport them en masse, or you're going to have quite the mess here in this country, in
Yeah, I
every
agree.
town.
Yeah, you'd have to deport them en masse. Have to go and just hog wild,
Yeah.
which is crazy. So in other news, did you know that they declared a man today?
Oh, really?
Yep, it's official. The boxer, Algerian boxer Imane Khalif, I
Mm-hmm.
believe was the name.
Yep. In the Olympics, he
Which
boxes a woman.
we the gold medal winner, the one that we knew, was officially now is declared a man. Officially. They don't know how to get out of this now. I'm very curious. Let's see if the IOC says anything about this. No, IOC has not responded as of yet. It doesn't look like it. The IOC is by the way, the International Olympic Committee, is I believe what they're called.
You don't find it interesting that they needed to go to a doctor to get an official certification? Couldn't somebody have just peeked in the shower?
Yeah, exactly.
You know what I
Well,
mean?
it's and if you know it's a guy, you should have had a guy go into the shower and look. So that it couldn't be anything bad. I'm not looking at a girl. It's like,
Yeah.
hey, I'm just a dude showering with another dude. According to what I heard, though, he smelled a lot, so maybe he didn't take very many showers.
Yeah. That's a
Half,
crazy
half
world that
the
we live in.
half the knockouts came through the nasal passages.
Brother, just the mere fact that we have to have these conversations in this society. I mean, if people don't wake up to how far off the rails we've gone, it's just absolutely insane. You look at other countries like China or whatever, Germany, and you look at the children, and you look at how far advanced they are compared to American kids, and this is what we're teaching them, this crap, instead
We
of
don't
teaching
teach
them
now.
how to live life and be productive members of society. Come on, you know?
We don't teach now, though, do we, Robert?
Nope. Have them memorize it.
I'm doing a search right now just to see if the IOC has responded at all.
I'm really jealous of you.
Why?
I'm looking at my hair. It's like I don't have a live-in hairstylist.
You don't have what?
A live-in hairstylist. I have to
Oh, I
go to get
know.
it cut. And I just haven't had
I,
time to do it. I'm like, oh man, it's really gone out of control here. But
no, I am
yeah,
so lucky, so
you
lucky.
are.
Let's see here. Here's the IOC. I go to IOC Media. and nothing.
Not a word, huh?
No, they're going to try. They're going to hope it goes away.
It
That's what
does.
they're
It will
hoping.
go away. How many fights can we fight? And
Yeah. It's interesting though that the information was released right now, the day before an election, where everybody's talking election
it's going to be
stuff, right?
buried. Yeah, exactly right. That's exactly what they're going to do. Gosh.
Hoy, but hey, guys, at least we know it's official. Yay! Sad for all the ladies that participated in boxing this year.
Mm-hmm. Board is, it's important to remember that here in Arizona, the races are extremely close. No, they're not. And it still might take a few days for you, the media, to be able to call these races. So stand by.
Breaking news! Breaking news! Miss Beth said, "Robert, you are handsome. Great hair."
Ah, thank you, Miss Beth. I appreciate that. Now I'm going to blush. No.
Look at his color turning red.
Yeah.
It's a beautiful color.
It's a beautiful tone of red, isn't it? It's like being out in the sun all day. Hey, speaking of Robs, this is Rob Schneider doing the showing you how many accents that Kamala really has.
Oh,
She's
love
better.
this, yes.
No, let me tell you, Kamala, she does different accents, depending on where she is, down south. Let me tell you something. You boys better get it together here and vote. Save democracy. Black community, she's like, shit, let me tell you something, honey. Let me tell you right now, we ain't vote for Trump, I even saw her at a 7-Eleven going like, listen, it's very important that we vote for the Democrats. We're trying to save democracy here. We're trying to save democracy. For sure, you don't understand. You need to vote. You need to vote.
Oh, brother, he's funny. He's funny and so accurate. I haven't heard her do the 7-Eleven accent, though. Have you?
No, not yet. You know why?
That's her heritage. Come on.
Exactly.
know?
She would be giving it up.
That's right.
I cannot do the 7-Eleven accent because if I did, they would figure me out. No. No, thank you very much. Ay, ay, ay.
You know what's interesting is we're the same age. I'm the same age as her, and she grew up, guess where? Montreal.
I don't know where.
Montreal, Westmount.
Oh. She did. Who did?
She did. Harris.
Really? I didn't know that.
She was born in California to parents who were here on student visas. So technically, she's an anchor baby and does not qualify to be president. But of course, we don't follow this constitution anymore. That's just an old document in a museum somewhere.
Constipation is what they call it.
Yeah,
now.
exactly.
Because
and then they were in Canada, and their parents were at McGill University and teaching. And she grew up in Westmount, a very wealthy part of Montreal, by the way. Houses there were always real expensive. I know my college campus was not far from there. So, interesting. I don't want to compare myself to her and say I'm just, because
you look alike. So.
I look just like her, huh? Oh, brother.
Similarities don't stop.
Yeah, you look at her background, and Charlie Kirk has an interesting video out. I posted it on the Telegram channel today, and he's been going to universities, talking to kids about voting and the election and all the rest of this stuff, and he has them come up and they say, why are you voting for Kamala Harris, or who are you voting for? And the students will say, I'm voting for Kamala. Okay, can you tell me her greatest achievement? Can you tell me any achievement? No, I can't. And then he just informs them and then gives them a MAGA hat and gets them to understand what's going on. And there's a great video. It's like 2.5 minutes or something. It's like one after another. And it's like, this is a guy who's in the field doing the work, So love him or hate him, he's doing a great job.
I agree. And that's what, again, all hands on deck right now, right?
Yeah, literally. And one thing I mentioned to Lewis earlier today is what they can't do is they can't allow us to see that Trump is in the lead at any point. So I think they're going to mess it up as much as possible so we don't get to that point. Bannon suggested to Trump that when he, enough of the votes are in and he's ahead, that he should immediately declare victory. which he didn't do in 2020. He waited till the next day, and then everything got flipped to Biden. But had he done that on election night, it would have made a huge difference, apparently. So,
Well, you told me that earlier, and I
yeah,
think that could be a brilliant
yeah.
strategy, actually. Get out ahead of it, and then what are they going to do? Because then they can say prove it. Okay, here you go. That's going to be very interesting. I think that's a brilliant strategy. And I'm not number one on Bannon's fan list, so
Right. Well, look at George W. Bush. When the hanging Chads controversy was going on, hey, paper ballots are going to save the day. Yeah, I don't think so. The hanging Chads were going on, right? It was going back and forth, back and forth, back and forth, and he finally declared victory, right? Even though the numbers didn't prove it out yet. I think he won by what, 57 votes or so, 500 votes. It was
well,
such a
I don't
small
know.
margin, right?
That's all a sham,
Well,
actually.
that whole thing was, yeah.
That was more about division again. That was the height of division. That's what they were trying to cause there.
Yeah.
They already knew who their guy was.
It didn't really
Uh,
matter if you got Gore or you got Bush. I mean, what's the difference, right?
it
They
would it
play for
wouldn't
the
matter
same
at all.
team. Yeah. And that's the way it's been. It's like you get a Republican, you get a Democrat. Reagan was the exception. I thought that was kind of interesting that he had 8 years in there, and then I don't know. There's some stories that he did play ball. There's some stories that he didn't. He made it look good. He was an actor. Who knows? A long time ago, a lot of water under the bridge. And Rush isn't here to talk to about that anymore. So
That's my opinion. Um, but and I have some corroboration on that too when I've talked to people literally that worked in the administration, so on and so forth, or worked near the administration. They're like, yeah, everything changed after that. Everything changed. He wasn't
mm,
even the same guy. Could be literally or figuratively if we want to go down that road. Um,
we have a stand-in for Reagan. Yeah, that could be possible.
yeah, you never know nowadays.
Well, they
Here's some
always have it,
news.
right? So you go back through history. There's always been stand-ins for top leadership.
I have some news, Robert. So a little bit in Pennsylvania, it's more of a warning. Um, if it says here, I'll just read it. If you voted by mail in Pennsylvania, including in person, check your ballot status right now. If it says ballot returned, that means your ballot was received. If it doesn't say returned, call your Board of Elections right now. So what they're suggesting is that somebody else is turning in ballots for you, which I'm sure that's just one of many things. It's interesting watching the news right now. I'm looking at all the news stories.
Hmm.
There's none, which you predicted, I think, last week, right? There's literally, other than the Olympic boxer story and Trump hurt Michelle Obama's feelings. That's it. Can you imagine a zero news day? That is crazy.
Well, you got to go with what's the popular story, and that's the popular story. We were having it last week when we were talking about the hurricane. We had a lot of people reaching out and saying, "Hey, can you guys talk about the election? We want to hear about the election." It's all they want to hear, and then that's what the media responds to. So, one of the things that I've said for a long time is we beat up a lot on the media for telling us the wrong thing, but the truth of the matter is we, number one, allow it, and number two, demand it. Right? It's like big pharma is the same thing. It's like they only have those drugs on the market because we use them. We want solutions. We want things to be easy. Just give me a pill. I don't want to think about my health. Right?
Right.
And they
Yep.
respond, and that's what they do. And this is the kind of the position we found ourselves in, rather than saying, you know what, I'm going to take responsibility for my health. What do I need to do? What's the options? And have really push the doctors to tell you what the cause is. The reason this is happening is because you can't eat Dunkin' Donuts every morning and expect not to have diabetes, or whatever the story is, right? And have you do the corrections you need to make to be responsible for your health. And it's the same thing for the news. We do not hold them accountable, right?
That's
And
right.
they just do whatever they do, and all right, we'll turn in tomorrow night, or we have it on in the background for hours. How many people have their TV on all day and all night? I was staying at a condo in Vegas about a year or so ago, and the neighbor, Fox News, cranked up all frick. I couldn't even sleep. It was all night long. He had it cranking the windows open. It's like, come on, really? Turn it off already. Go to bed. Nope. Sleep with it on. Guys, you're being programmed. You may not be listening to it, but your subconscious never sleeps, picks up on everything. So
Oh,
just be
it's
aware of
absolutely
that.
right. And believe it or not, I wasn't even referring to the news. I was on X looking at news stories, and
Yeah.
there's nothing,
Yeah.
nothing. And you're right about the public demand. I made a conscious choice to ignore that. Hope I didn't hurt anybody's feelings because I thought that the why we're worrying about an election that we could do nothing about. And literally, we can't do anything about it
Right.
except go vote. And the go voting really doesn't do anything about it either. There's a lot bigger picture here that we have to worry about. So, um, again, it'd be very interesting being at the election event tomorrow just to take the pulse of people and see what are they really feeling. I mean, I'm sure they're excited, but um, my wife is a huge supporter of President Trump, and she's the first one to say he's not our savior. You know, she goes, no, he's. I think she said he's hope is what she says about President Trump, and I think that's apropos. That's a good statement, actually. You know, and that's what he represents. But the reality is, it's still, and I'm going to be saying this to people there tomorrow. I'll say, regardless, it is up to we the people. And we have to remember that it's up to we the people. If he gets in, one of my biggest concerns is everybody's just going to stop and it's just they're just going to just enjoy the next 4 years.
No, that's
I
when
think
our
that's
work really has. We have to kick in the high
yep.
gear, and it's at the
I
local level that we need to interact here.
yep. I think that would be a huge mistake, by the
Yeah.
way, if everybody just stopped and said it's party time. There's
Well,
so
you
much
saw
work
it
to be done.
in Western North Carolina, right? That is a good example of what it's going to look like. That mess is very symbolic to the mess we're going to experience through this election. And we've got all these illegals in here that are going to cause tremendous chaos because that money's going to stop, and we're going to have to deal with that. And Trump can't do anything about it. I mean, he could send the people down to do it, but honestly, it's going to be up to us when they're doing home break-ins and stuff. You're going to come face to face with this. What are you going to do? How are you going to handle it? And you have to be ready for that. And I'm telling everybody about this. And it's like neighborhood watch, and we've got to be strong in our neighborhood. We have to know our neighbors and forget about the damn politics. The politics don't matter. It's designed to divide us. Although we're we cut each other's finger, we'll both bleed the same way. You know what I mean? This is not even it's not that we're different. It's that we have a different belief system. Who cares? Like religion, who cares what someone's religious beliefs are? It doesn't bother me at all. If that's what you believe, that's what you believe. Fantastic, believe it. I'm not here to change your mind about it. Politics is the same. I'm not here to change your mind about it. If that's what you believe, that's what you believe. We can still be friends. We don't have to talk about those subjects where we'd argue. You know what I mean? Just leave it aside for now. We've got a lot of work to do, a lot of cleanup to do. And you're right, Lewis. If we wait for Trump to get in, and then if he does get seated as president, then if we take our hands off the wheel, we don't deserve this country. Because we won't have it 4 years from now. There's no more Trump after this. You got 4 years and that is it. And you probably have a year and a year and a half of productive time because the first year is going to be him appointing people to the positions that need to be filled. Thousands of them, by the way, people. Thousands of them. Right? So the administration really isn't set up literally for about a year.
Yeah, absolutely, absolutely true. So, again, guys, whether Trump's in or not, there's a lot of work to be done. So I would think if for some reason they pull off the steal, that we really need to get to work exposing all of this and not accepting it. And that's the key, not accepting it. Be willing to risk everything to take your country back. I know that sounds crazy for y'all, but that's where we are right now. Many people are talking regardless, and I got to get going here, Robert, in a minute. But a revolutionary war, if that happens, you damn well better hope that the good guys have the same type of equipment the bad guys have, because that's a whole nother level. So this is why get your ass prepared, make sure everything's set up, and let's now I think it's an energy war right now. Is the best thing we can do is have positive energy, manifest it. Just know that they're going to try to make everything wacky and just manifest a great outcome.